A man named Erlo captured something truly terrifying during his exploration. Deep within a dense forest in South Africa, his calm adventure took a sinister turn when the atmosphere shifted from peaceful to paranormal.
I think we have found a perfect place to place the trail camera. So this trail running along here is literally the only entrance and exit for this entire valley. And you can see it's very narrow, so it's very easy to funnel the animals in one spot. You know exactly where they'll be walking. It's very dense around here, so I guess animals can walk wherever they want. They don't need the trail, but I'm almost 100% convinced we'll catch some animals on this trail. Just look at how nice that is. I just have to find a good spot to place the camera. I'm not too concerned about people finding the camera. This trail isn't used a lot because it's just a one-way, it's not a through-way. So maybe a tree, I reckon this tree could maybe work, although that's going to be very obvious. Maybe if we find something that's a little bit further into the tree line, so it's better hidden, this could perhaps work. I have no idea what that was. That was not an animal. I think I'm gonna leave.
As he made his way down a tight, overgrown trail, eerie sounds began to echo through the trees. The unsettling noises seemed unnatural, like whispers from something unseen lurking nearby. Each step forward only amplified the dread, as if the forest itself was alive with supernatural energy.
Perhaps work.
Overcome with fear, Erlo didn't stay to find out what was behind the sounds. He ran for his life. But the question still lingers. What was making those ghostly noises? Or perhaps more chillingly, who or what entity was haunting that dark forest path?
Perhaps work.
YouTuber Dak set out alone on what was meant to be a peaceful survival adventure deep within an untouched stretch of wilderness. His mission was simple: kayak through the frozen waters, build a small shelter, hunt for food, and spend a solitary night in nature. He filmed everything for his channel: the setup, the fire building, even the moment he got soaked by freezing waves on arrival. After drying his clothes beneath a large tree, he cooked a modest meal and braced himself for a long, icy night. Though solo camping was nothing new for him, this time the woods felt heavier, charged with an eerie paranormal stillness. Around 2:30 a.m., he was startled awake by distant coyote howls. While not unusual, there was something unnerving about how they echoed through the dark forest. Dak listened for a moment, then pulled his sleeping bag tighter and drifted back to uneasy sleep.
Alright guys, I'm gonna go to sleep. It's super late and I'm really tired. I'll see you guys in the morning. It's 2:30 in the morning. I woke up to go to the bathroom and I could hear some coyotes. They're way off in the distance. I don't know if you'll be able to hear them. I think you guys should be able to hear that. There's some barking off in the distance. Well, it's cold out. I'm gonna get back in my sleeping bag.
Coyotes often roamed the area, and while their cries were haunting, they rarely posed real danger. By 6:02 a.m., Dak stirred awake once again, ready to pack up camp and begin his journey back to civilization.
Good morning, guys. It is 6:02. And I am extremely tired. I slept decent last night, but I'm gonna pack out right now. It's still dark. It'll be dark for another hour or two. I'm gonna take down my shelter and pack on out. Alright guys, I am hiking out of here. I was thinking about taking my shelter down, but I'm on private property, so it really doesn't matter. I'm just gonna leave it up for maybe another time.
The early forest was silent and cloaked in shadow, a thin sheet of snow glimmering faintly over the frozen ground. As he prepared for the 2-hour hike back to his kayak, the only sound was the soft crunch of his boots beneath him. Then, something strange. A blinding light pierced through the trees in the distance. At first, he assumed it was a ranger or another camper, but that theory fell apart fast. There were no roads, no trails, no camps for miles. No vehicle could have reached that deep into the woods. Dak called out a cautious, "Hello," but the forest gave nothing back. Only silence.
Hello? Hello?
The light was too bright, far brighter than any flashlight he'd ever seen. His own headlamp, weak and flickering, barely cut through the darkness. He squinted, trying to spot who or what was behind that beam. Seconds ticked by. No answer. Then, without warning, the light vanished. The forest was swallowed by pitch-black silence. That's when he heard it. The snap of branches right where the light had been. Something, or someone, was moving toward him through the dark. A surge of panic froze him in place.
Hello?
Frantically, Dak reached for his stronger flashlight, but his trembling hands fumbled through his pack. The unseen figure wasn't retreating. It was standing there, watching. He could feel its presence, heavy and deliberate. His pulse thundered as he realized his only escape led straight through the place where the light had appeared. Thinking fast, he veered off the path, circling wide to avoid it while staying quiet as possible. Every sound, every crack of snow beneath his feet felt deafening. Gradually, the footsteps faded, and whatever had been following him melted back into the dark. Hours later, breathless and exhausted, Dak finally reached his kayak. Relief washed over him, but unease lingered. Only later did he realize his campsite was on private property, while the woods he crossed were public land. Maybe it was another camper, but if so, why didn't they respond? Why shine a light so bright only to cut it instantly when called out? And those footsteps, why were they moving toward him? Dak still doesn't know the truth. All he knows is that something unnatural was in those woods that night. Something that didn't want to be seen. Tom's Trails, a YouTube channel famous for its outdoor adventures, captured a chilling real-life encounter on March 9th, 2025. In his latest upload, Tom decided to take on his first ever bivvy wild camp, heading deep into the woods with his friend, Matt. The goal was simple. A night under the stars with minimal gear, surrounded by nature's peace. But what started as an ordinary camping trip soon turned into something deeply unsettling. Tom had dreamed of camping in these specific woods for months, and with clear skies, a calm breeze, and temperatures at a perfect 8 degrees Celsius, it seemed like the ideal night. Yet as he set up camp, a strange nervousness crept in, an unease he couldn't quite explain. He brushed it off as first-time anxiety and focused on preparing dinner beside the small campfire. The forest was quiet, the air still. Aside from a few distant animal calls, everything seemed peaceful. But as the flames flickered lower, that tranquility began to shift into something darker. Tom couldn't shake the feeling of being watched.
There's been some activity. There's been some like deers and foxes running around. One got really close and then bolted in a heavy move. been a lot of stuff going on, but it's not been like scary. It's been quite nice and relaxing. It's been crazy warm as well.
Soon, even the wind stopped. The familiar nighttime hum of the forest disappeared, replaced by an unnatural silence. Tom tried to dismiss his fear as imagination until the noises began. At first, they were faint, almost blending with the fire's crackle. Then came the deliberate snap of twigs one after another in a steady, rhythmic pattern, like footsteps pacing just beyond the tree line. Matt looked at Tom, both realizing at once that what they were hearing wasn't random. The sounds carried intent. Each time the noise seemed to fade, another twig would break, this time closer. Tom whispered that it could just be a deer passing through, but his own voice didn't sound convincing. Deer move quickly. They flee at danger. Whatever this was didn't flee. It stayed, watched, and waited. As minutes turned to hours, the oppressive silence returned, broken only by the pounding of Tom's heart. Just as he began to drift into restless half-sleep, a new sound emerged. Closer, much closer. A soft rustling just outside their camp. Tom froze, his breath shallow. Then, suddenly, something rushed toward his bivy bag. The sound was unmistakable, fast, heavy, intentional. He bolted upright, heart hammering in his chest. Footsteps followed, slow this time, retreating back into the darkness as if whatever had approached them was taunting their fear. It wasn't the wind, and it wasn't an animal. Animals don't move like that. They don't rush humans, stop inches away, and vanish into silence. Whoever or whatever was out there had intelligence, curiosity, and purpose. The two men sat awake for the rest of the night, too terrified to speak. When dawn finally broke, the forest appeared calm and harmless, as though nothing had ever happened. But Tom knew better. What was meant to be a simple wilderness camp had turned into a night of supernatural terror. To this day, he has no idea what stalked them through the trees. But one thing is certain, he'll never return to those woods again. Have you ever had a night in nature that left you terrified? Share your story in the comments below. In 2022, a team of urban explorers from the now inactive ACE YouTube channel ventured into Huron Place, an abandoned high-rise in Cleveland, Ohio. Once built as affordable housing, the tower had long since fallen into ruin. Fires, vandalism, and years of decay had turned it into a ghostly shell of its former self. Still, as the group made their way through the structure, they began to feel an unnerving truth. They weren't alone. The lower floors were littered with charred furniture, shattered glass, and personal items left behind by former residents. Graffiti lined the walls, some of it unsettlingly fresh. Among the debris lay burned papers, old maintenance logs, and even a floppy disk, relics of another time. At first, it felt like any other abandoned site. Quiet, eerie, but harmless. Then, the silence deepened, heavy and unnatural, and something about the air began to change.
What? Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a little disturbing. You're telling me there's still furniture left in here that someone hasn't thrown out? Oh man, the hardwood floors too.
Man, I'd say there's a door doing.
There was definitely a fire started in here.
100%. This is kind of cool, and we found some furniture, which means we might find more.
Yeah. I mean, as far as abandoned places goes, this is down there. We just didn't want to leave Cleveland without going to an abandoned building, so. Oh my gosh. It's a floppy disk. That thing's ancient, dude.
Ancient text spoke of such art.
A lot of paper. Look at all that paper.
That was me.
Here's another one. AME March 25th, 2001. Parkland Apartments.
That's plastic.
Park Lane Apartments.
No way. These are the tenants that lived here.
Yeah.
I'll bet you a lot of this stuff still here. Royce Robinson, McKinney. Oh, some McKinley. Probably gotta get those shots in here, dude.
Before long, the explorers stumbled upon fresh signs of human activity. At first, they assumed they'd come across squatters, hardly unusual in a place like this, but something about it felt wrong. The confirmation came when they reached the 13th floor. One of them leaned over the stairwell to film below, capturing footage that would chill them all. At the base of the stairs stood a motionless figure, staring straight up at them. The group froze. The person didn't speak, didn't move, just stared. Panic surged through the team. Was this person dangerous? Armed? Another explorer? No one wanted to find out. Heart-pounding, they realized they had to leave, but every creak of the stairs as they descended felt like a countdown to disaster.
Explain what just happened.
So I peeked my head over the stairs because I wanted to get a cool shot because there's like a million floors. And when I looked over, there was a person all the way at the bottom looking back up at me.
So there's someone else in here.
Yes, and it freaked me out.
So go back. We are currently making a quick exit because there are other people in here and we don't know what they want, so.
Okay, let's go. Oh God, I'm out of breath.
Their footsteps echoed through the empty corridors, bouncing off the broken walls, making it impossible to tell whether they were alone or being followed. The tension was suffocating. Every shadow seemed to shift. Each sound made them flinch. As they neared the ground floor, a fleeting sense of relief washed over them. But it was short-lived. Something far worse was waiting.
See? No. It took us 2.5 minutes to walk down those stairs. Todd, your car's this way. Oh God. They look like two kids. I mean, 18 to 24.
Here, keep this out now.
These people made it obvious that we weren't welcome there, so we made a quick escape. This is something you always have to be aware of when urban exploring, especially with buildings like this that are frequented by drug dealers and criminals. Always be aware of your surroundings.
One of the explorers turned for a final look at the decaying tower and froze. Up on a cracked balcony, several stories high, stood two figures, silently watching them. The realization hit hard. It wasn't just one person inside Huron Place. There were two, and they'd been observing the team the whole time. Without a second thought, the explorers bolted for their car and sped off into the night, shaken and speechless. To this day, they've never explained what they saw. Were these just squatters warning them to leave? Or something more sinister? Something that still roams the haunted halls of Huron Place? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Sama and his crew of ghost hunters from the YouTube channel In the Dark set out to explore an abandoned school dormitory long rumored to be cursed. Both students and teachers once claimed the place was terrifyingly haunted, with loud crashes echoing through hallways long after curfew, and the eerie sound of a call to prayer drifting from the mosque, even though it stood completely empty. Prepared with flashlights and nerves of steel, the team thought they knew what they were getting into. But what they encountered was a full-blown paranormal assault.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Samet abi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. O neydi Samet? Samet! Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Samet. Uf.
Ne oldu?
Toz, duman çıktı lan.
Öyle bir şey var.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. 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 Samet o neydi?
Oğlum valla ama şok oynadı ha. Yemin ederim. Şuradan geliyor.
Bismillah. Samet.
Despite the chaos they recorded, the deafening bangs, the distant thuds, the sounds of something unseen running through corridors, every time they rushed to investigate, they found absolutely nothing. Room after room was empty. No footprints, no movement, not even a flicker of a shadow, yet seconds earlier, it had sounded as though the building was under siege by something supernatural.
Samet dışarıdan da geliyorsun.
Dur bir dakika. Bak. Baba sese bak.
Dışarıdan geliyor. Şşş. Ne oldu?
Bir şey geliyor, bir şey geliyor. Çek.
Samet dur hele ya. Elim ayağım titriyor orada şey.
Ne oldu?
Abi ses geliyor arkada ya. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillah, 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 bismillah.
Koş koş.
Tamam, geç.
Ne oynadı lan?
Bilmiyorum, tahtaların biri oynadı.
Even once they stepped outside, the haunting didn't stop. But that wasn't the only chilling thing they heard. Remember that story about the mysterious call to prayer from the deserted mosque? It wasn't just a rumor. As the team circled the building, the sacred chant began again, slow, distant, and ghostly, filling the air with a presence that felt neither human nor holy. Shaken to their core and realizing they might be dealing with a demonic force, the team decided they'd had enough. Skeptics might say the sounds, the moving furniture, and even the eerie call to prayer were just pranks, maybe orchestrated by someone hiding nearby with speakers. But through the entire investigation, not once did the cameras capture a person, a shadow, or a trace of equipment. So what do you believe? Could this be genuine paranormal activity? Or is it all an elaborate illusion? Let us know your thoughts below. 2 years ago, on November 9th, in Asheville, North Carolina, a terrifying event unfolded. The day began calm and sunny, perfect for outdoor adventures and peaceful solitude. But what started as a relaxing afternoon soon turned into a nightmare. Meet Sarah, a popular YouTuber behind the channel Sarah Dungo, where she shares her stealth camping experiences. That day, after exploring for hours, she parked her van near a quiet park, made herself some pasta, and prepared to unwind. Everything felt serene, until that peace was violently broken. Out of nowhere, 2 loud knocks echoed through the side of her van. The sound jolted her upright. Confused and startled, she froze. Why would someone knock on her van, especially here, miles from anyone else? She was parked in isolation, far from towns, trails, or any nearby campers. Nothing about this felt normal. Then came another knock, louder and more forceful this time. Panic flooded her veins. Her mind raced. Who could it be? What do they want? Summoning every ounce of courage, Sarah cautiously peeked out through the curtain, and what she saw made her blood run cold. A man was staring directly through her front window, his face pressed close against the glass.
Know her, please leave me be.
The stranger began speaking rapidly, claiming he was looking for a missing girl and needed to check inside her van. The request was bizarre and invasive. Sarah's instincts screamed that something was wrong. She realized in that instant she might be in real danger. Acting fast, she slammed the van into gear and sped off into the night, her heart pounding. Alone in the dark, the thought of what could have happened if she'd stayed made her tremble. The incident became one of her most terrifying experiences. Proof that even in the calmest places, danger can appear without warning. Thankfully, Sarah escaped unharmed, but her story serves as a chilling reminder that not all threats in the wild are paranormal. Sometimes, the real horror is human. Lisa, a solo traveler and YouTuber known for sharing her van life adventures, often posts motivational content about independence and self-growth. But one afternoon in 2022, her peaceful lifestyle took a disturbing turn. While parked along a quiet roadside, Lisa left her van, door open, to cook dinner, when an unsettling stranger suddenly appeared. A shady-looking man poked his head inside her van without permission and began speaking to her rapidly in French, a language she didn't understand. Confused and uncomfortable, Lisa told him she couldn't comprehend what he was saying. In response, the man pulled out a translator app and continued trying to communicate, ignoring every social cue. His persistence and invasion of her personal space made her increasingly anxious. After watching him fumble with his phone for several tense minutes, Lisa firmly slammed the van door shut and drew the curtain, hoping he would finally leave. But for over 30 minutes, the man remained outside in the rain, muttering and tinkering with his phone as if trying to find new ways to talk to her.
Okay, he just moved even closer so that I can't move out and so that I can't go forward. Please leave. Please leave, you sketchy person. Please leave.
Eventually, the stranger slunk into the nearby bushes, where he began watching her from a distance, apparently unaware that Lisa could see him. As daylight faded, the situation grew more unnerving. The man moved his car several times, inching it closer and repositioning it in ways that blocked her exit, trapping her in the parking spot. Lisa kept her eyes on him through the curtain, terrified that he might approach again. The eerie sense of being stalked in the middle of nowhere made the air feel heavier, every second stretching into an eternity.
Okay, this guy is really starting to freak me out. It's been like a half an hour and he just keeps on moving his vehicle so he can see in my van here. And anyways, it's 7 o'clock, 7 p.m.
Just as night fell and fear began to overwhelm her, salvation arrived. A family in an RV pulled up and parked directly behind her van, deciding to spend the night in the same lot. Their presence brought Lisa a wave of relief. The creepy man seemed to get the message and, finally, drove off. But the nightmare wasn't over. Around 3 hours later, in the dead of night, he returned. This time, when he noticed the RV family was still there, he lingered for a moment, then disappeared into the darkness for good. At sunrise, Lisa wasted no time leaving the area, shaken but safe. To this day, she has no idea what the man's true intentions were, but given his behavior, his stalking, silence, and obsessive persistence, they couldn't have been innocent. One thing is certain. If that family hadn't arrived when they did, Lisa's terrifying encounter could have ended very differently.